Hey friends, happy new moon in Leo. I am coming to you live from my beautiful new office. I decided that today I was going to treat myself to a little indoor space because outdoors it is heating up here in Boise. But that being said, I am so grateful for this space. I'm grateful for you being here. And we're here to discuss not just the energies of the new moon, but really I want to talk about the energies that are going to complete this really transformational month of August, which began with a full moon and again is going to end with a full moon. So a couple weeks ago, August 1st, we had the beautiful full moon in Aquarius. And that was a time to look at your life, to examine, see everything that the moon was reflecting back to you and perhaps refine, release, let go. The song that I chose for that was Shedding Skins by the fabulous Fia. And coincidentally, serendipitously, as all things work, I happen to have a snake. I don't have a snake. My youngest child has a snake, a cute little snake named Cherry, who shed their skin right after that full moon. And with each shedding of the skin, it is a reminder that this cute little tiny snake is getting much bigger and bigger and bigger and transforming and growing as we all are every day. Some days it is an intentional, deliberate step towards growth and transformation and getting to know ourselves better. And sometimes it's just thrown at us and it's buckle up, put on your safety harness, let's go. We're going on this journey. So wherever you find yourself today under this new moon in Leo, I hope that you are wrapping yourself in arms of acceptance. Last night at the Salt Sanctuary, I was honored to get to lead a guided meditation alongside Christina, who does this beautiful crystal sound bath. And that is something that we'll be offering on the new moon. So the next one, mark your calendar if you're local, is Thursday, September 14th. That'll be for the new moon in Virgo. And there's only 9 spots available and they fill up fast. So come grab your seat. You can get that at Salt Sanctuary or on my website, Let Love Rise, under the events page. It'll all be updated real soon. But as we were there, as a part of this guided meditation, there was a moment where the invitation was to visualize the most beautifully serene space that we can imagine when we close our eyes, get transported to a beautiful space, and to see a door. And on the other side of that door, there's a person, a form, something there that is greeting you with such love and compassion and affection and complete acceptance for the person that you are right now in this moment. And it's something that was a part of the guided journey, but there are times, I know certainly in my life, where as I am shedding skin, as I am moving through new spaces and new energies and perhaps trying something new, I can be so judgmental and so harsh and critical on myself. And there is so much happening right now on a collective, universal level, let alone in our individual lives. Of course, how the energies that are present in the universe show up in our individual life has a lot to do with our personal astrological birth chart. If you'd like to know more about that, feel free to reach out to me, DM me, or through my website, you can sign up and we can set up an appointment to go over your birth chart and where these energies are affecting you. But the idea being, I often see, and all around my office, you'll see feathers and wings. I often, when I'm feeling the most self-critical and just in a hard space, I close my eyes and I envision these white wings that just wrap around me in such a warm, soft, loving embrace that's there to remind me that, I'm perfectly imperfect. And that's a beautiful thing. This mirror that you can see hanging in my office. It's hard to tell from this video, but it has two very large cracks in it. And it too, I have intentionally left those cracks there because it is a reminder to myself that nothing in life is perfect, but it is perfectly imperfect, just like ourselves. So I just first want to open this video, I guess, with a little moment of acceptance and self-love and self-compassion for ourselves as we move through this transformational month. So August started with the full moon in Aquarius, and it is going to end with a second very special full moon in Pisces. And so these bookends of these full moons, there's something magical when we get to in 1 month. It only occurs every 2.5 years or so. So it's like a call to just pay special attention to this month. And the month before the full moon even came, we were already experiencing some strong waves of shedding skins with the Venus retrograde, which I've spoken so much about. Because for me, I know that one of the areas in my life that I am really working through are my love stories. And my love stories are in all kinds, all shapes and forms, right? I have love stories with my family. Generational healing that is happening through this Venus retrograde. There are also love stories with the people that I work with, or right now that I don't work with, because as I pursue my entrepreneurial career, I had to say goodbye to some really fabulous coworkers, and there is a loss in that. There is that letting go and that shedding. And of course, there are our intimate relationships with our partners, our spouses. And for me, as I'm still navigating my way out of this dark night of the soul, which has felt all-inclusive for pretty much since 2019, when I found out in 2019 is the time that this Venus was in her fullness. Just like there's a full moon, there's a Venus, a full Venus. And that cycle is closing out, and a new Venus is rising right now through this retrograde time. So it's just this really important time to examine ourselves and how we show up and who we're in relationship with and how we're in relationship with them. And is it a beneficial relationship that in our body, as we feel it, it makes us feel good. And I say that very simply because honestly, it really is that simple. It took me way too long. And again, there's that, criticism right there, that self-judgment. It perhaps takes me as a Taurus. You see all these bulls all over my office, these stubborn bulls. Might take me a little bit longer to work through, and change the things that I'm really fixed in. However, it's a part of the process. There are all sorts of things that we are being asked to let go of. And when I say things, it could be people. It could be a job. It could be where we live. It could be who we live with and who we interact with day to day. And the one constant through it all is ourselves. And in this new moon in Leo, we are our own light. We are the lion. Leo is ruled by the sun, and the sun is just this vibrant force of our universe, of our solar system, and that is asking us to shine our light and to examine what's blocking that light. And we had the experience with the Awaken Your Inner Divine to look at our inner child and the stories that have been superimposed upon that young, innocent person and that being, and to start to find ways to lift and remove that so that our light can shine more fully. With every new moon, we're asked to think about what is the seed that we want to plant. What are the new beginnings that we want to put seeds of intention down to see it grow and flourish. And so as you consider that for yourself this Leo season, or as we wrap up Leo season, actually, we are getting close next week to moving into Virgo season, and I'll talk a little bit about that because that completes the energy of this month of August. But really tuning into what is it that you want to create that's true to you. And it could be a creation of any kind. It could be a creation of a new relationship. That's a creation. It could be a creation of a new painting or a collage or a piece of poetry that you want to do either for yourself just to create joyfully, or it could be a creation on a larger scale that you are looking to create a side hustle, or perhaps take on a whole new thing for lack of a better word, because that's what I'm still trying to wrap around what it is that I am creating. I know what's important to me is to recognize where in my body I feel energized and I feel joyful, and to continue to pursue those places. And when I start to feel that tightening, either in the heart space, in the throat, I am still being very aware of my voice and how, it was removed from me a couple months ago now. And what that taught me, when we don't have our voice, perhaps it shows up in your gut, which is our power center, the brains of our body, really signaling what is what feels good, what doesn't feel good. Going back to that idea of just checking in with our bodies. Virgo, these energies that we're moving into next week, the week after the full moon, around the 23rd, Virgo rules over our bodies and how we show up day to day. So really spending some time to listen. But those are also the things for me that have helped me as I found myself repeating same patterns in relationship stories and being frustrated by it. And it can only happen for so long before you realize it's not everybody else. The common denominator is me. So how do I want to show up differently? And I just started paying attention to, when I'm in the presence of other people, how my body feels. Am I energized and alive and radiant and excited and ready to go? Or is my heart really tight and my stomach all up in knots? And do I have difficulty expressing myself? Do I have pain in my, my temporal lobe? Like, paying attention to our body signals is the first indicator of how we're doing. Are we in alignment, or are we out of alignment? And is there a helpful pivot to consider? So we are halfway through this Venus retrograde. Again, Venus, goes into this underworld as she comes really close to the sun and appears dark in the sky, just like the new moon. We know they're there, but we're unable to see them. And in this darkness, it is like a dark night of the soul. It is facing our demons, our the thoughts, the stories that replay in our head, and the thoughts that oftentimes create or bring forth the fear that prevents us from wanting to move forward in a positive, helpful way. And it's so easy to get trapped in these spaces. And so just paying attention to the body and the signals. I have a friend who taught me the acronym SNAP, and I might be getting it a little bit incorrect, but for me, when I'm aware that I'm feeling something that isn't one of my preferred feelings, it's the S is for stop. The N is for notice, like notice where it's taking place in the body. The A is for ask. Ask yourself, like, what story is playing right now? What story is playing, and is it true? And then the P is for pivot. So stop, notice, ask, pivot, snap. So that has been a helpful way for me to understand some of the patterns that I had been repeating in my life. And when you start to recognize feeling awful and feeling awful and feeling awful and feeling awful, there comes a point where it's like, well, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? How can I make this better for myself? Because at the end of the day, we have many people that we journey through life with, but there's only one body. There's only one mind and heart and soul that is with us all the way through. And that's you, right? The beYOUtiful part of yourself. So how do you stand up for yourself? How do you hold yourself? What is the version of you that you want to see rising out of this Venus retrograde, rising out and claiming its space under the light of this new moon? Who is the you that you feel courageously authentic, where you show your Leo light and say, this is who I am, unapologetically? I remember the last day, I believe it was the last day of the school year at the school where I used to teach. We had a special like talent show ceremony, and there was a student who roasted bravely all the teachers. And I remember the roast of me. It was short and simple and made me laugh so hard. And it was simply this, Madame Blythe, I don't know, what do you say? I don't know which is more useless, French or astrology. And obviously they're both very useful. But it made me laugh with, like, there was a sense of relief, but it was also like, oh, my students really see me and who I am. I'm not afraid to let my light shine, and I'm not afraid to let people know how much I am moved by the beauty of the moon, by the cycles of the moon, by the energies that, all these teachers who have guided me on my learning journey. I talk about them all the time. Molly McCord, oh my goodness, her most recent video on, just go to Molly McCord's channel. I don't even remember which video it was. I don't think it was on the new moon. It could have been the astrological energies for this week. It's just astoundingly beautiful, and that is the stuff that excites me. So if these type of conversations excite you, please check out Molly McCord. Kai Pacha of New Paradigm Astrology, or he does the weekly Pele report, Astrology for the Soul. Check him out, his work, and the life that he is living right now. That's what fills me up, and that's what makes me ask, well, what's next? What can I create next? Who can I gather together next? How can I help people release themselves from these stories that no longer serve? How can we all free ourselves from this? What do we need to let go of? What are the skins that need to be shed so that we can create and allow in this newness? Oh my goodness. And Chani Nicholas, by the way, if you're an Android user, good news. You can finally access the Chani app, which is it has so much information there, but that's what lights me up. What are the things that light you up? Perhaps you write a travel blog and you get lit up every time you discover a new place and you want to share it with people and how to go there, extravagantly or inexpensively, or however it is. So the thing that I know to be true is that we all carry the same fears. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to feel safe. And we want to be loved, right? And when there's an absence of that, there's fear around it. We have fear. So a lot of the fears are the same things that can hold us back, keep us trapped, keep us small, keep us safe in these stories that are perhaps outdated, and that the universe is saying, hey now, are you sure that's working for you? And if it's not working for you, this is a really great time to reflect. So we all share the same fears, but our creative joys, The things that light us up, that's unique and individual to each and every one. And that's why this Leo new moon, this chance to let your inner light shine, is so important. It is so important to take the time to recognize, where am I blocking my light? What am I blocking my light with? And how can I unroot it? How can I unleash it? How can I let it be free and show up courageously, authentically, beYOUtifully? Me, you, not me, you. So we're in this new moon energy. We are in this Venus retrograde, and we are wrapping up Leo season and embracing Virgo season next week, where it's not just going to be a Virgo sun, but we're also going to get a magnificent Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde in Virgo is really, really a great time to just look at our systems, look at our day-to-day living, look physically at what might need to be cleared out, like this space that I'm in. A month ago, it was my teenage son's bedroom, and that space got cleared out, and as heartbreaking and sad as it was to have my firstborn leave the coop, it has created this space, or it has allowed this space to be transformed into a creative space for me to work from. So perhaps it is cleaning out a closet, cleaning out the fridge, cleaning out a pantry, cleaning out the junk drawer or drawers, the garage, your closet. It could be something very physical. And one way to work really well with this Virgo Mercury retrograde, Mercury is very comfortable in Virgo. It's a good space for this retrograde to happen, is, as we're slowing down, and it might not be that full steam ahead action, is to look at what else you can clear out. Perhaps there's a project. I know I have some home projects that I postpone, but it's a great time to perhaps tackle one of those. What can I do in this 3-week period as this slowdown is happening? 7 planets will be retrograde by the end of the month, and the 2 that will no longer be retrograde, Venus will come out of her retrograde early September. I believe it's September 3rd or 4th, and Mars isn't retrograde, but everything else is. So the retrograde is a time to reflect, to review, to release, to renew, to restore. And if you're in a dark night of the soul, if you're in a dark space, close your eyes, find your own inner place of peace. And if the vision of these white wings of love wrapped around you in compassion and comfort and space is a helpful one, take it. And if it's not, there are plenty of guided meditations that you can listen to that can take you to this space to visualize this place of radical self-love and acceptance. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, if we don't have radical love for ourselves, how can we love others fully? The universe is asking us to go within, to do all the reflection that needs to happen. So when the full moon comes back at the end of this month, it's going to shine a light on how you're doing. But right now it's the time to say, what is it that I want to create? What energizes me? What excites me? And pay attention to when you're on that path. And conversely, pay attention to things that aren't feeling good in your body, that don't resonate well. And are there ways that you can snap, stop, notice, ask the story you're telling yourself, ask yourself if it's true, and is there a pivot? And sometimes the pivot can't be a complete physical removal or whatnot. Sometimes the pivot, a lot of times the pivot happens right up here behind our eyebrows, in our mindset. So One offering that you can look forward to that I will be creating here locally in Boise is going to be a midweek, let's see if I can say it, a midweek reset, mindset reset. Look for those classes. They'll be coming to the Salt Sanctuary sometime mid-September, October. And yeah, just check in with yourself, check in with your body. And if you feel a slowdown right now, know that you are exactly in the right place in the right time to allow the slowdown to work its magic in you, So happy Leo new moon. If for nothing else, if one way that you can shine your light this week into the next week is just do something silly that brings you joy. If it is buying a pack of bubblegum and blowing bubbles, buy yourself a pack of bubblegum. If it is wearing red lipstick to the grocery store with an awesome set of heels, whether you're male or female, do it. Whatever makes you smile. Follow the joy, follow the love, follow the playfulness. Our inner lion is our inner child. It wants to experience life in the most full and joyful way. And there are ways that we can make that happen for ourselves. And it starts with tuning in. So I will leave you with that for now. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. If you liked what you heard here, you can give it a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Share it with a friend who maybe wants to hear this message. And as always, you can find everything you need to know about me, what's going on, what's upcoming, the processes that I'm working through as I am vulnerably sharing my story through letloverise.com, through my blog, of course, here through my video blog, and through the events that I'm teaching both here locally in Boise, Idaho, but also I'm hitting the road again. I will be in Des Moines, Washington for the Blue Moon on the 31st. So if you're anywhere near that area and want to join us for a magical celebration, please do. You can find information on Eventbrite, also Let Love Rise. And once again, thank you for being here. Let your light shine. The world needs you. You need you. Much love. Namaste.